The Book of Enoch, once considered a lost or suppressed text, is now making a significant resurgence. Its detailed accounts of angels, the Nephilim, apocalyptic visions, and the mysterious Son of Man have captivated modern scholars, truth seekers, and even religious communities. But could this ancient book also hold the key to unlocking some of the most enigmatic passages in the New Testament? Could early Christians, including the apostles themselves, have been familiar with Enoch's writings? In this video, we'll explore the surprising connections between the Book of Enoch and the New Testament, uncover the hidden mysteries it reveals, and discuss why this text is more relevant today than ever before. Though many consider the Book of Enoch to have been lost for centuries, the truth is more complex. While it was excluded from the biblical canon of most Christian traditions, the Book of Enoch has been preserved as sacred scripture by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, where it is still part of their Bible today. This makes Ethiopia one of the few places in the world where Enoch was never forgotten. The rediscovery of the Book of Enoch in the mid-20th century in the Qumran caves alongside the Dead Sea Scrolls revealed that the book was not only valued by early Jewish communities, but also held as authoritative scripture by groups like the Essenes. These were a sect of Jews who believed strongly in apocalyptic prophecies, the role of angels, and the cosmic battle between good and evil. The copies of Enoch found in the Dead Sea Scrolls are written in Aramaic, the language commonly spoken during the Second Temple period, suggesting that this text was widely read and respected during the time leading up to the life of Jesus. The Essenes, who are believed to have watched over the Dead Sea Scrolls, saw Enoch as a vital source of spiritual knowledge about angels, demons, and the future apocalypse. The fact that Enoch was preserved by these groups suggests its critical importance in Jewish apocalyptic literature. But the story doesn't end there. Despite its exclusion from most Western Bibles, Enoch's teachings lived on in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which still includes it in their canon today. The Ethiopian version of the Book of Enoch, preserved in the Ge'ez language, includes sections such as the Book of the Watchers, which details the fall of the angels, the Nephilim, and their impact on human history. One of the more intriguing theories about the resurgence of the Book of Enoch is its possible connection to the prophecy found in Daniel chapter 12, verse 4, where Daniel is told to shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. As interest in Enoch rises in modern times, many have speculated that this might be the very knowledge that was meant to be sealed until our era, when understanding the mysteries of the end times would become crucial. Many early Christian thinkers, particularly during the first few centuries, saw apocalyptic writings like Enoch as part of a larger divine revelation. Early Church Father Irenaeus, for example, spoke about the importance of understanding prophecies that had not yet been fully revealed. While he didn't mention Enoch by name in this context, his arguments about end-time revelations suggest that some knowledge was intended to remain hidden until the time was right. Similarly, early Jewish mysticism, particularly in the form of Merkaba mysticism, explored the heavenly realms, angels, and divine secrets that were closely tied to texts like Enoch. Many of the themes in Daniel's sealed vision, including the role of angelic forces and the eventual judgment of the wicked, are mirrored in the visions of Enoch, particularly his descriptions of the Watchers and their punishment. Could Enoch be the key to unlocking the mysteries hidden in Daniel's sealed book? One of the most striking connections between the Book of Enoch and the New Testament is the concept of the Son of Man. This title, frequently used by Jesus to describe himself in the Gospels, finds its most developed pre-Christian origin in the Book of Enoch, where the Son of Man is portrayed as a divine, pre-existent figure destined to judge the world. In Enoch's Book of Parables, the Son of Man is not just a messianic figure, but a heavenly being who is intimately involved with the judgment of humanity and the cosmos. This description mirrors the way Jesus speaks of himself in passages like Matthew chapter 24, verse 30, and Matthew chapter 26, verse 64, where he predicts that the Son of Man will return in glory to judge the nations. Before the discovery of Enoch's text, scholars struggled to explain where the early Christians got the idea of the Son of Man as a divine eschatological figure, since this concept isn't well developed in the Old Testament. But Enoch provides the answer. In Enoch chapter 48, verses 2 to 4, we see the Son of Man described as a figure chosen before the creation of the world, who will sit in judgment over both angels and men. This aligns closely with how Jesus is portrayed in the Gospel of John chapter 1, verses 1 to 3, where he is described as the pre-existent Word through whom all things were made. The story of the Watchers, the fallen angels who descended to earth and fathered the Nephilim, is central to the Book of Enoch. While the story is briefly touched upon in Genesis 6, Enoch provides a much more detailed account of the Watchers' rebellion, their offspring, and their ultimate punishment. This narrative is crucial for understanding some of the New Testament's more cryptic references to imprisoned spirits and angels awaiting judgment. The first epistle of Peter, chapter 3, verses 19 to 20, and the second epistle of Peter, chapter 2, verses 4 to 5. Both reference the spirits in prison, angels who sinned in the time of Noah and were bound in darkness until the day of judgment. These passages echo the descriptions found in Enoch, where the Watchers are described as being bound in a dark abyss after their rebellion. Without the context provided by Enoch, these New Testament references remain somewhat enigmatic. In 1 Enoch, chapter 10, verses 12 to 14, the archangel Raphael is commanded to bind the rebellious angel Azazel in a dark, jagged pit, a scene that directly parallels the New Testament imagery of fallen angels being bound in darkness. Moreover, the Nephilim, giants born from the union of the Watchers and human women, are presented as the root cause of humanity's corruption and violence, which led to the flood. Early church fathers, such as Tertullian and Irenaeus, viewed the story of the Watchers and Nephilim as essential for understanding the origins of sin and the need for divine judgment. For them, Enoch's detailed account of the Watchers' fall and their offspring's corruption of humanity helped explain why the world needed both the flood and the eventual redemption brought by Christ. Enoch's vivid depictions of hell, fiery judgment, and the eternal punishment of the wicked laid the foundation for much of the New Testament's eschatology. While the Old Testament is relatively vague about the afterlife, focusing more on Sheol as a shadowy place for the dead, Enoch presents a detailed cosmology of the afterlife, where both angels and humans are judged and cast into eternal flames. In 1 Enoch, chapter 10, verse 13, we read about the burning flame prepared for the rebellious angels, and in Enoch, chapter 108, verse 6, it is said that the souls of the wicked shall be cast into the furnace of fire. This description prefigures the New Testament's depiction of the lake of fire in Revelation chapter 20, verse 10, where the devil, the beast, and the false prophet are thrown to be tormented forever. The continuity between Enoch and Revelation is striking. Early Christian theologians like Clement of Alexandria, circa 150 to 215 AD, were deeply influenced by Enoch's descriptions of cosmic judgment. In his writings, Clement spoke of the eternal punishment of the wicked, drawing from the vivid imagery found in Enoch's account. This influence is also evident in other early Christian texts, including the Shepherd of Hermas, which shares thematic parallels with Enoch regarding divine judgment and the fate of the unrighteous. Much of what modern Christians understand about hell, the final judgment, and the fate of the wicked comes directly from the apocalyptic traditions found in Enoch. Without Enoch, the New Testament's eschatological framework, particularly as seen in the Gospels and Revelation, would be missing key elements of its theological foundation. Despite its wide influence on both Jewish and early Christian thought, the Book of Enoch was excluded from most Christian biblical canons by the time of the 4th century. But why? The exclusion of Enoch was not due to a lack of respect for the text. It was quoted by Jude, reflected in Peter's letters, and revered by early Christians. Many historians believe that the exclusion of Enoch from the Western biblical canon was influenced by theological shifts in the early church. By the time of the Council of Laodicea, circa 363 AD, Christian theologians, many of whom were influenced by Greek philosophy and Neoplatonism, found Enoch's descriptions of angels, cosmic battles, and the supernatural to be too fantastical. The heavy focus on angels and demonic forces did not align with the more rational philosophical approach that was being adopted in the Western Church. Additionally, as the Church sought to distance itself from its Jewish roots, apocalyptic and mystical texts like Enoch, which were deeply embedded in Jewish cosmology, became less favored. The early Church Fathers in Alexandria and Rome were moving toward a more allegorical interpretation of Scripture, one that left little room for the rich, detailed cosmology found in Enoch. While Enoch was excluded from most Western Christian traditions, it remained central to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. To this day, Enoch is part of the Ethiopian biblical canon, and its teachings continue to influence the Ethiopian Christian worldview. In Ethiopia, Enoch is considered essential for understanding the nature of angels, demons, and the final judgment. The Ethiopian Church's preservation of Enoch is not just a historical curiosity, it speaks to a theological tradition that has remained closer to its early Christian and Jewish roots. In the Ethiopian liturgy, references to Enoch's teachings on the end times and the coming judgment are still made, showing how this ancient text continues to shape Christian belief in this part of the world. As we have seen today, the Book of Enoch's influence on the New Testament and early Christian thought is profound. From the concept of the Son of Man, to the Watchers and their rebellion, to the final judgment and the lake of fire, Enoch provides key insights into the foundations of Christian theology. Its exclusion from most Western canons does not diminish its importance. It only invites us to look deeper into the mysteries it reveals. Could it be that the knowledge hidden in Enoch is part of what Daniel chapter 12 verse 4 was referring to, now being unsealed in these last days? So, why study the Book of Enoch? New Testament influence. Many New Testament passages are better understood in light of Enoch's teachings, including references to the Son of Man, angels in chains, and final judgment. Respected by early Christians, early Christian communities, including the author of Jude and Peter, were clearly familiar with and influenced by Enoch's writings, considering them essential for understanding spiritual warfare and the end times. Preserved in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. The fact that the Ethiopian Church still considers Enoch canonical demonstrates its historical and theological importance. Insights into the spiritual realm. Enoch offers unparalleled insights into the workings of the spiritual world, including angelic hierarchies, fallen angels, and the ultimate plan for divine justice. Bridges the gap between the Old and New Testaments. Enoch fills in key gaps in biblical understanding, particularly regarding the role of angels, the origins of sin, and the coming judgment. Now that we've explored Enoch's role in shaping early Christian thought, how does this connect to the larger narrative of the Seed War? From the days of Noah to the present, humanity has been caught in a cosmic battle between God's forces and the rebellious angels, those who seek to corrupt creation and stop God's plan for redemption. The Book of Enoch offers crucial insights into this battle. The Watchers' rebellion in Enoch, which led to the creation of the Nephilim, was an attempt to corrupt humanity's bloodline. This was part of the Seed War, an effort by fallen angels to prevent the coming of the prophesied seed of the woman who would crush the serpent's head, Genesis 3, verse 15. By corrupting human DNA and spreading violence across the earth, the Watchers hoped to stop God's redemptive plan. But the flood, and later Christ's incarnation, thwarted their efforts. The Seed War didn't end with the flood. The same forces that corrupted the world in Enoch's time are still at work today. From attempts to manipulate human genetics to the growing obsession with transhumanism, these modern movements can be seen as echoes of the ancient war between the divine and the fallen. Just as in Enoch's time, humanity is being tempted with the promise of godhood, a deception that seeks to lead us away from God's true plan. Understanding the Book of Enoch and its teachings about the seed war equips us to recognize the enemy's tactics in modern times. As the battle between good and evil continues, knowing how the spiritual realm influences our world is essential for standing firm in faith and being part of God's redemptive plan. The Book of Enoch is more than just an ancient text. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle in understanding the ongoing battle between God's forces and the rebellious angels. As we continue to uncover its hidden wisdom, we can better see the full scope of the seed war, from the days of Noah to the modern age. Could it be that Enoch's time has come once again, and that we are on the verge of seeing the final chapters of this cosmic battle unfold?